Alright, today I am attempting to install rear side window glass into a HJ HX Monaro. You can see here I have all three pieces that are needed, plus the bolts, stuff like that. I've already replaced the motor on the regulator, as you can see it there. The first thing you want to do is, I have a power probe. Hook it on. I believe it's the black one. Close it up like that. That makes it heaps easier to put in. There's probably heaps of different ways to do this. This is the way that I found easiest. Having not pulled this car apart, it was sort of a little bit of trial and error. The other thing I've done is I've pre-greased that there. A little bit of grease on the wheels. Some people like to pre-grease. I don't. I'm a grease magnet. So if I pre-grease something, 9 times out of 10, when I touch it, it's going to end up all over me. So I do usually do the greasing once it's in the car. I'll stick my hand in there and grease it then. Okay, so easiest way to do it definitely is to remove the seal. If you've already put it in, sorry, my light's there. Make sure the vent's out. Makes just for a handy handhold. And I'll get to, and we'll put the motor and regulator in first. Guys, this is a little bit difficult to do with one hand. She sits in there just like that. As you can see it, down in there, and just there. So what I'm going to do now is, I'll put the phone in for a sec. It's going to put the 2 bolt holes in there. As you can see, bolt holes are done, lined up. Just sitting in the cavity it is supposed to be in. Actually, that's one thing I didn't do. I will now pull the wiring. Attempt to pull the wiring out through. Hole. I'll make that easier to find later. Next bit I'm going to install is the, I don't even know what this thing's called, the slidey. We'll just call it the slidey thing. So yes, that'll be the next thing I'll install. That's the way I found to install that. Straight through the vent hole. Goes in quite easily, sits on the other side there, as you can see. Down in there, you can see it. Too easy. Alright, well, I'll put the bolts in for that. Okay, bolt holes are in. You can see those 2 there, the one down there. It is sitting in there roughly the way it should. Now, I left all bolts loose because they still do need some minor adjustment. And you've got to unbolt and rebolt to move the glass around to get it in. Like I said, there's probably a better way of doing this. This is the way that I found. So yeah, so that's next thing is dropping the glass in, and yeah, we'll get on to that. Yeah. Now, it's extremely hard to do with 2 hands, let alone 1. So I'll just give you a brief explanation. So you have on your glass, like so, 3 rollers, 1, 2, 3. This roller here is the main roller that runs down the center there, down that, you can see that, oops, can see that track, that line in here, that runs in there. The other two, those two, run down here. You've got an edge here and another edge here. So what you effectively need to do is put the glass in through the top, line everything up, and then have it so that it slides up and down. And you basically need all three of those wheels in the right location, otherwise, trust me, it will not move. All right, I'm going to stick the glass in now, and yeah. Okay, so I have the window in. You can see there. See there. This is the primary one that you want to get in first. That's obviously one of the other ones. You can see there where it is running on the edge. The one on the other side, not that you can see it, is doing the same thing. The glass now moves up, moves down. The other thing I did need to mention is to get this window in safely without scratching up the glass, without, you know, damaging paintwork and stuff like that. You do have to loosen these two bolts off, let it sit over, slide it in, push it back over, do the bolts back up, and then she slides up and down. I'll get that out of the way. Slides up and down, kind of. You know, these are, you know, I don't know, 50-odd-year-old mechs. So, yeah. I suppose the fact they still work's a miracle. So now the next thing is to get this ball here into this channel in here. Now the way that I did this is by taking off these two here that we've previously done up, that holds the reggie in. And it's a little bit of a manipulation act. Again, my probe, where's my probe? There's my probe. Comes in handy for this part of it. Because you just got to, you know, adjust it. Obviously, if it's not electric, it's probably a lot easier. You just stick a door handle on it, just wind it up and down just to get it right. So, yeah, but that's the next job I'll be doing. Again, it's a little bit too hard to do with two hands, let alone with one. So I'll be back. All right, so I'll just show you. This is how I managed to get it on. I've loosened off those two bolts. I've left that one on, left that one on the slidey doodah, and I'm just wrangling this around at the moment. So that slides in like that. Cool. Right, now that that's done, I can put this nut back on, hopefully with one hand. Awesome. Finger tight, like most others. And now I'll have to maneuver the bottom piece, I suppose you call it, around so that it will sit. Alrighty. As you can see, I've got that in the slide right there, I think. Yeah, no, she's in. That's lined up. That's lined up. And I don't think you can see it, that's lined up. So now what I'll do is I'll just tighten the bolts up, 7/16 socket I believe it is, and then I can use my power probe to wind it up and down, make sure everything works the way it should, and do some final adjustments. Alright, so we got it going, kind of. We seem to have a bit of a issue with this ball here, which is causing it to bind up when it goes up and down. You'll see in a second. I can just put this somewhere. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There you have it. Ready to rock and roll. Cheers.